A gladiator didn't just fight with muscle, he fought with mindset. Every day, he woke up knowing he might not see the night. That kind of pressure either breaks you or builds you into something unshakable. The Stoics trained their minds the same way. No fluff, no fantasy, just brutal clarity. Today, we're unlocking the mindset that made men calm in chaos. And trust me, Part 3 will flip your entire perspective on fear. If even one idea hits you hard, drop it in the comments. I read every one. Part 1. Face the fear. Daily exposure to discomfort. Every day, a gladiator stared death in the face. Not once a year, not when it was convenient. Every single day. And somehow, instead of being paralyzed by it, he walked into the arena calm, steady, ready. But here's the truth, they don't tell you. That kind of mental toughness doesn't just show up when you need it. You have to build it, brick by brutal brick, and the only way to build it is by walking straight into the things you want to run from. Marcus Aurelius said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." Translation: fear is a choice, and so is courage. Most people think mental toughness means never being afraid. That's a lie. Fear isn't weakness. Avoiding it is. What makes a person strong is their relationship with fear. The Stoics didn't avoid pain, discomfort, or uncertainty. They invited it in like an old friend. Because every time you face the thing that scares you, you steal some of its power. It shrinks. You grow. So the question isn't, how do I stop being afraid? The question is, when was the last time I leaned into it on purpose? You want to build an unshakable mind. Stop insulating yourself from discomfort. Take cold showers. Speak up when it's awkward. Sit in silence when your brain begs for a distraction. Fast for a day. Say no to the thing you always say yes to. Walk into the unknown without needing a guarantee. It's not about pain for the sake of pain. It's about training your nervous system to handle pressure. Like the gladiator who sparred with blades in the morning so he wouldn't panic at night. You expose yourself to small struggles today so that life's bigger storms don't rattle you tomorrow. And here's the part most people miss. You don't wait for the fear to disappear before you act. You act with it, in spite of it. That's courage, and it's a skill. The more you do it, the more your mind learns. This thing didn't kill me. I can handle this. I can move forward scared. Think about what kind of person you'd become if you trained your mind this way, not to escape fear, but to face it over and over. Because if you can get comfortable being uncomfortable, if you can face rejection, criticism, silence, chaos, and still keep your center, you become untouchable. Not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. That's what the Stoics knew. That's what gladiators lived. And that's the first rule of mental toughness. You don't wait for courage. You train it by facing the fear, daily, deliberately, without flinching. Part 2. Control the inner. Arena thoughts are the first battlefield. Asterisk, most people think the real fight is out there. The job, the money, the relationship, the critics. But the Stoics knew better. The real arena is internal. Your thoughts, your reactions. That's where every battle is won or lost. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire, but even he said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You could put a man in chains, throw him in a cage, strip him of everything. But if he mastered his thoughts, he was still free. But if a man let his thoughts run wild, no prison was needed. He was already broken, That's why the Stoics obsessed over their inner dialogue, because they knew you are what you rehearse. You replay an insult. You carry that weight. You dwell on fear. You strengthen it. You feed anger. It owns you. And most people are mentally undisciplined. They wake up and let the day decide how they'll feel. A comment ruins their mood. A delay throws them off. One rejection and their self-worth collapses. That's not freedom. That's slavery to your own mind. The Stoic flips it before the world gets a chance to punch him. He trains his thoughts like a soldier sharpens his sword. Not every thought deserves attention. Not every emotion deserves obedience. You feel anger. Pause. Question it. You feel fear. Name it. Don't flinch. The goal isn't to suppress your emotions. It's to see them clearly. To know which ones are lies and which ones are signal. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Let that sink in. Two people can go through the exact same struggle. One breaks, the other grows. The difference? The one who trained his mind survived it. And this training isn't complicated, but it's brutal. It means waking up early even when you don't feel like it. It means not chasing every impulse. It means pausing before reacting, choosing. Clarity over chaos. It's you standing in the middle of noise and saying, "I decide what gets in." And the longer you train like that, the less reactive you become. The less your peace depends on the outside world. You stop being tossed around by every mood, every person, every problem. That's mental toughness, not coldness, not numbness, just total inner control. Because in the end, you can conquer kingdoms, win followers, stack millions. But if you haven't mastered your mind, you're still just a slave in a crown. So take the fight inward, because the most important battles are the ones no one sees. Part 3. Train in silence. Glory is built in the dark. Everyone wants the glory, the praise, the recognition. They want to be seen as disciplined, wise, unbreakable. But the real ones, they train in silence, because they know greatness isn't built under lights. It's built in the dark. Gladiators didn't become legends. The moment they stepped into the arena, they became legends in the cold mornings, when no one was watching, when the sword was heavy and the bones ached. That's where the mindset was forged. The Stoics lived the same way. They weren't loud. They weren't performing. They were sharpening themselves, privately, quietly, relentlessly. You want mental toughness. You won't find it on stage. You find it in repetition. You find it in solitude, when it's just you and the part of you that wants to quit. Most people crumble there. They need noise. They need eyes on them. They need applause just to move. But the Stoic, the true gladiator, builds in the shadows. He reads when no one's asking. He works when no one's clapping. He sharpens his body, his habits, his thoughts, not for show, but because strength is a duty. You don't rise when the world tells you to rise. You rise because it's who you are. And that's the part no one wants to hear. There's no shortcut to this. If you want to be mentally bulletproof, you have to show up daily when it's boring, when it's silent, when no one will ever see the work, because that's where the real transformation happens. You build the habit before the crisis hits. You train the mindset before the breakdown. And then, when life punches you in the mouth, you don't flinch. You've been here before, in the quiet, in the dark, when no one believed in you but you. That's when the inner beast was born. So don't chase validation. Don't broadcast every move. Let your silence speak. Let your actions echo. Remember, the strongest minds were built far from the spotlight, far from comfort, far from noise. And when the time comes to step into the arena, you'll be ready. Not because you said you were, but because you trained when it didn't matter to anyone except you.